since my camera lady is over here cleaning up, we're gonna kind of address the wiring here. The lights I think all the lights worked, but this is just if we can see here, this is just a 4-way wiring. So you got green for right turn, yellow for left turn, brown for running lights, and white for ground. There's not a electric brake wire in here, so we need to come back somewhere right here and drop a brake wire down to connect to our brakes. We may end up just having to route a whole new 7-way wire. I'm not sure just yet if we can get it to fit up in the holes where it comes through. Starting to think we should have took this to the car wash first. This coated wiring is much better anyways. This is like what most of your boats run because you only have 4 wires in them anyways. But this stuff with the insulation on will make it a lot better, especially if it'll be sitting out in the sun most of the time. So it'll just kind of help protect the electrical. I'm going to cut it and splice into this, and then I'll also have my blue brake wire running down here. You just want to be very careful not to cut through too far here when you're stripping this, or your fingers. So sometimes trailers are wired differently, but depends on the 7-way. Some are labeled weird, but most of the time when I wire them, I wire green as right turn because that's what it's for. Brown marker, white is ground. Black we won't be using in this case because sometimes runs for an auxiliary. Yellow is left turn. Red is normally for either your brakes or your reverse lights, whichever. A lot of 7-ways, they have a blue wire, which is normally the blue wire is what I use for the brakes, but this case we're running the red for the brake wire. These Scotch locks are great this is what we use on all of our axles for brakes and stuff. They come filled with dielectric grease, so it keeps the corrosion away. I've yet to torn into one of these and had these fail for corrosion, so. Pigtail here. We're gonna go grounds all together. Take our brake wire, power wire. Get these heat shrinked and get this tied up so it doesn't come down and drag or catch on anything. Put some tape around it, and then we'll move up to the front. And we may, when we get done with everything else, put a isolator right here just to keep this from bouncing or rubbing through the wires. So, but for now, let's call that good and we'll move up to the front. We got our marker light over here. This is the one that wasn't working, I noticed. And you can kind of see the green in here. Lights on your trailer, if you got plugs like this, it's good to pull these off. They just pop in and put some dielectric grease in there, clean the dirt out with some brake cleaner or something, and then put grease in them. It'll definitely make the longevity of them, make them last a lot longer. Once again, black wire, we won't need it. The only reason I'm cutting this right here is I've got to splice in the guide markers for the front of the trailer, so otherwise I would have just ran it straight up. We'll splice it in here. We'll also probably take and weld a bolt on the frame right here and run the ground to it so that the trailer's actually grounded through that. Normally I'd probably put a junction box in right here, but where I don't have much room to put one in under here, the ones we have are just too bulky for in here. So we'll just butt connect it and it should be fine that way too. So junction boxes are definitely nice though, because if you rip your wire or forget to unplug your plug off your trailer from your truck or whatever, you can come back into the box, undo the wires, and then run your new 7-way plug into it. We're just going to use another Scotch lock for the ground right here, and we can get an eyelet, weld a bolt on here, the eyelet over the bolt, and put a nut on it, and then it'll be absolutely grounded. Let's see, we'll have to have another Scotch lock too on the front marker lights. So let's go like this. Okay, well, I will get these heat shrinked and then I'll hurry and tack a ground bolt on, get it wrapped up, and then we'll move all the way to our last spot on the wiring, which will be our 7-way plug. Now we're on to the last step of this, which is our 7-way plug. So we've got our new plug on here, and then we've got our actual plug in. Here's a good example. Some of the cheaper plugs, or whatever you want to call them, are labeled in this according to this. So white is labeled right, that's your ground. Blue is your brake wire, it's going to be red in this case. But brown on here is actually going to be right hand turn, which is green. Red will be left hand turn, is yellow. Then this green here will be brown for marker lights and tail lights. So we'll start here with marker light. You want to be careful you don't run the screwdriver through your leg or your hand. I know from experience, and it's not fun. Okay, there you have it. That's all wired up. One thing you don't want to forget, and I still do it sometimes to this day if I'm in a big hurry, I'll get this all wired up and realize I didn't slide this over at first. So definitely makes it a pain when you forget that. Just gonna wrap it up, hurry and put some tires on it and kind of give it a little facelift. And yeah, so stick around and we'll get started. Okay, we're gonna get these dismounted and kind of cleaned up, painted. We're gonna save that one and use it for a spare. This one's the same tire, but this one has a lot more cracking and a lot more sun. So we may end up still dismounting that one just to wire wheel and paint that wheel. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. As you can see, I mean, this tire still had decent tread. You can see how it was wearing, but this main crack right here, it'll just end up doing exactly what that tire did, which we don't want that. Try to make it as safe as possible here. Okay, we're just pulling the weights off of it here. We don't have a weight removal tool, so we're doing it the hard way. Okay, we'll get this wheel cleaned up, see if we can get some paint on it. I'd say that looks pretty good. A lot better than rust. Okay, you can see the difference. I think the painted one looks a lot better than the rusty one. Okay, we're just waiting on spare wheel to dry and then the fourth wheel. So I think we'll get these mounted up on here. I would say that looks a lot better. Not perfect. The fender still got some damage, but it's not going to rub on the tires, so I think we'll be good. We got a little bit of brake drag, so we may still have to adjust them later on. One more thing I'm forgetting here is the spare tire mount that's broke. So I think what I'll do is I'll take and weld this on there. I'll probably take and drill my 2 holes out first, get them all marked out. We'll get where they need to be marked and drilled out. I might throw a piece of angle on top of here just where these are so thin, just to kind of stiffen it up a little bit. I'm almost debating on one in the bottom too, just to make it stronger. It would probably be fine as it is, but trailers do take a beating if you're hauling a side by side or four-wheelers up a gravel road that's rough. I can decide which way is going to be better. Maybe something like that and like that. Like I said, this is going to be a pretty weak point. We want to make sure it's secured. Well, I think that'll work. That'll stiffen it up, make it sturdy. Got a little movement, which you're going to have that. Give her a shot of paint to kind of keep it from rusting. Then we'll throw that spare tire on here. And I think we'll be done. Look at that. I must say, that ain't going nowhere. Okay, Leah, I think we've accomplished almost everything we've set out to accomplish on this.
What are we doing next?
We're going to take this to the car wash and get some of the dirt washed off and clean the deck up. And then we're going to seal her on the deck and maybe kind of paint a few of these bad rusty spots just to clean it up a little. And we may actually have a buyer for this trailer. We hadn't decided if we were going to sell it or keep it, but this buyer is somebody that I know very well, and I'll say somebody that this trailer knows very well. So when we get it all finished, we're going to surprise them. So this buyer that knows this trailer very well, I'm not going to say who it is yet. Actually, I think we're probably just going to sell this to them for what we're into it with the new axles and stuff, and that's just because of who the person is. So we'll get the rest of this all finished up and show you the finished product here.